Hello, moon babies. It's Molly. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I'm really excited to talk about today's topic, which is the Genius Loci. So there aren't a ton of videos about this subject, so I thought this might be a way that we can contribute. So I want to talk about why a place feels special, why you might feel compelled to return to a place, and how you can connect with your own local Genius Loci. So I've always been interested in this subject. I've always been interested in interfacing with my city as part of my magic and part of my practice. But having moved to a new neighborhood in the last couple of months, it's really sort of reinvigorated this desire to get connected, because this neighborhood in a lot of ways feels really different, and I'm still feeling it out and learning to understand it and have a conversation with it. So what is Genius Loci? So you'll also hear this referred to as the spirit of place. So in ancient Roman religion, the Genius Loci was the spirit, the protector or guardian spirit of a place in the form of a local deity. In modernity, it's used in art and architecture to describe the character, the essence, the atmosphere, the unique qualities and character of a place that make it special. I like to think about it as the psyche of a place. And for witches, this is a never-ending font, right? An endless source of inspiration and insight. So why would a witch care about the Genius Loci? There are a couple of reasons you might be interested in working with this idea. Firstly, you're a part of this ecosystem. You affect it, and it affects you. And when we work with the Genius Loci, it helps us get further connected to nature and recognize that circle of which we are all a part. It can help us connect more deeply to where it is that we live and further deepen that connection to nature as well. It can help us tune in, be aware of what's going on around us in a new way. It can also offer us opportunities to grow in our practice and connect to different energies, receive information in new ways, and really participate in our life, really participate in our communities and our environments and interface with magic. If we are deeply connected to our Genius Loci, we can also feel if something is off, and that can help us develop ways to be of assistance and be of service. So let's talk about a list of ways. Let's brainstorm some ways that you can get connected to your specific spirit of place. You could start by visiting the same place again and again at regular intervals. It might be every Thursday, it might be every full moon, it could be every turning point of the year, it could be on your birthday, but observe how this place changes throughout the year and over time. You can create an outdoor altar to honor this spirit. I don't necessarily have an altar, but one of the things I like to do is take the hair out of my hairbrush and leave it outside, and it gets picked up by birds to make into nests. So get interested in your local news. I know a lot of people say, ew, news. I'm not talking about the crazy, melodramatic, intense news feed. I'm talking about your local news, your local paper. This is the stuff that affects you on the ground level and can give you an interesting energetic overview of what's going on where you live. So get super local and super specific. I want to talk about urban foraging a little bit. This is a fun hobby. Urban foraging is learning about what's edible that grows in your city. As an urban witch, I feel like a lot of these ideas are going to be fairly urban centric, but this applies to anybody. Foraging is a really interesting way, taking in parts of the land around you. I know the book that really inspired me was Dandelion Hunter by Rebecca Lerner. I highly recommend it. She talks about her adventures in urban foraging and offers a lot of interesting ways for you to give it a try. So, libraries. Libraries are magic. We know that. Not only are they treasure troves of information, but it's a quiet space. You can easily make this a meditative or ritual practice when you're there because you're really in the zone, and you will be amazed at what is available to you in the special collections of a library. Things that you can actually go in, sit down with, and touch. You'll be amazed by what they will actually allow you to experience. So get in to your local library and find out about your local history, people who used to live where you lived, the ancestry of a place. This can be useful to us as well. You can research native plants to your area, and if it's possible, replant some of them on your property or in a container to serve as that symbol, to serve as a link with your Genius Loci. You can get out and visit places, sacred sites, not so sacred sites, places that feel great and places that feel not so great, and just experience them and see what that's like. I recently posted a mindfulness meditation that you might be able to use in some of these places to glean information and have an experience with them. You can get involved by volunteering with a group or starting your own group, or even just looking into what sort of groups are available to help you commit time to helping uplift your neighborhood or your community. That's part of your Genius Loci as well. You can add physical bits of your neighborhood or your surroundings and place them on your altar to serve as a physical link to your spirit of place. You can take charcoal or chalk rubbings of textures that you find in your neighborhood and incorporate them in some way into your grimoire to link it that way. You can adventure further into special feeling places, places you really love, and by revisiting them, develop a strong relationship. Cemeteries are bountiful places for information, not only energetically, but historically. You will learn so much about the past of your specific location by spending a little bit of time in your local cemetery. You can use Google Earth to offer you a bird's eye view of your home, your neighborhood, your city, your state, your region, whatever it is, and just offer you a unique perspective that may be able to aid you in meditations if you choose to work with this energy in ritual. You can leave messages for your spirit of place with sidewalk chalk, with notes that you leave for it, or perhaps offering objects to help you commune and communicate. The coffee shop oracle, I've talked about this in the past, is a fun way, and all that involves is sitting in a coffee shop, or public transportation is another great place for this, and just listen to what people are speaking about around you, and you can choose to record them. It's really fun to look back and see if there are connections to what people are speaking about or how it changes over time. I love this game. It's a lot of fun. You can observe wildlife, both the wildlife and domesticated wildlife as well. You can create a collage that depicts what your Genius Loci feels like to you. What does where you live feel like to you, or what would you like other people to know about it, and create a piece of artwork around it. There's the trash oracle, which I believe I've posted these on the blog before, assigning meanings to refuse objects that you find. I also like to indulge in latrine channelings, which are just looking at bathroom graffiti. As a performer, I spend a lot of time in bar restrooms, and there's some really bizarre, interesting communication and information to be found in the latrine. So you may find your local natural history museum to be a helpful place in developing your relationship with your spirit of place. You can also examine street names, road names, and participate in a little bit of road magic or crossroad working to bring the Genius Loci into your work. You can use meditation to project yourself into the past of the place where you live and see what that was like. You can also use meditation to project yourself potentially into different levels of where you live. The sewer or the underground or the rooftops. This makes me think of the book Neverwhere, if any of you are familiar with Neil Gaiman's novel Neverwhere, where there are parallel worlds that exist to the world that you're participating in. It could be a really interesting creative exercise to expand your idea of what's going on in your community. You can also investigate urban legends. This is a really fun way to add another layer to the psyche, to the spirit of your place. And finally, when you do find something special, you feel like you have encountered a synchronicity or an object that's being gifted to you or an experience that's being gifted to you by nature, by the Genius Loci, express gratitude for it. And you may feel inclined to leave something in return. Some thoughts to consider. I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed this discussion. I'd really like to know how you are participating with your spirit of place, if it's part of your practice, if you'd like to include it in your practice, what your own experiments have been like. Let me know. Let's talk to each other. There's always so much good conversation going on in the comments. I want to thank you for watching. I would love to thank all of my supporters on Patreon. We're having a great time there. I'd like to remind you that you can also find me on Facebook. We talk a lot there. And you can also find me on Bandcamp if you're interested in these sort of ideas. You may wish to investigate my book, Art Witch, Practical Tactics for Art Magic. And on that note, I wanted to let you know that I am elbow deep right now in working on a new book for you, which should be coming out, if all goes according to plan, in the very beginning of October. So I'm really excited to be able to share that with you as well. Thank you so much for watching, Moon Babies. And until we speak again, get out there, experience your neighborhood, experience your world, investigate your Genius Loci, and just scratch the surface, and you will see the magic that is all around you. Witch on, witch boldly, Moon Babies. Bye-bye.